This week on The Itch, Justin and Spencer talk about the return of the Birdman Tony Hawk in 2015. Wii U is bringing the potential of Yu-Gi-Oh! to their console. Electronic Frontier Foundation is fighting Congress for you, the gamer. And their top story of this week is Blizzcon 2014. Blizzard rides the coattails to success.
I'm Spencer.
Woo!
And this is The Itch, where we talk about video game news, video game releases, and all things video games.
Way to go, Justin.
We got a pretty exciting show. The week, of course, is 11/08/2014.
No one knows Coltrane?
I don't know Coltrane.
You don't know Coltrane? No. All aboard the Coltrane! What?
Anything exciting happened to you this week?
This week, I lost my virginity. No. This week, I don't know. I mean, I got some stuff done on Final Fantasy. Beat a little bit more on Dragon Age, getting set up for Dragon Age Inquisition that drops on the 18th. Whoop!
Yeah.
And then review soon to follow after. Stay tuned.
All right, that sounds pretty exciting.
That's about it.
Yeah,
What
my
about
video
you?
games have been fun. I've played a little bit of a game I'm going to review, so that's a bit of a secret. But that's coming up down the
He
line.
got a secret.
Let's
Within the month.
yeah, hopefully. Let's
Yeah.
skip on over to the new video game releases for this week. We'll start with the multi-platforms. The Wolf Among Us,
Have not touched it, but I heard it's actually really good.
MotoGP 2014.
Yeah, man.
You got a little racing in there.
It's
Got a little moto. Got a little GP.
a little bit of GP.
And
Them goal points.
and then there's one that slipped under the radar called Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Oh dear. Xbox One and PS4 have Rocksmith 2014. Is that like what is that?
That's the guitar thing, right?
You use a real guitar and it teaches you how to play guitar.
Yeah, producer
I thought
Eric.
that came out like 4 years ago.
That came out for the PS3 and Xbox 360. And actually, one of my friends just bought the Xbox One version. He's actually been all excited because he's actually learning guitar.
Yeah.
And I do have to say that it actually does a great job of teaching you, but it teaches you everything. So, like, even if you don't want to learn how to do blues music, it'll teach you the kind of, like, it'll go through that kind of thing. And that's not an example. That's just kind of a...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
producer
grab it.
Eric plays every instrument ever. If you could see the rest of the house, he has flutes, he has cello right there.
Yeah.
A little bit of the long.
I don't think he plays. I don't think he plays the flute with his mouth though. I think he sticks it up his vagina.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. So BioShock Infinite.
For the Xbox 360 and PS3, we have BioShock Infinite Complete Edition.
Which I actually think is a good deal if you have not actually played BioShock Infinite.
That was a good game actually.
Yeah, it's fun.
PS4 releases only. Minutes.
Or seconds before you skip over it.
How to Survive Storm Warning Edition.
Or just don't buy it and actually read something that's educational.
The Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Yeah, it's free for PSN Plus users, so come on. Why not get it?
Excellent.
Yep.
Xbox One releases. There was one. It was Magic Duels of the Plane Walkers 2015.
It's the card game that I didn't play. I'm sure there's a big market still, but Not
PS3
I.
releases were Snarkbusters High Society and Blaze Rush. Is Blaze Blue? Is that?
oh, and Frozen Synapse.
Oh,
Prime,
Frozen, yeah.
which I'm excited is the PlayStation Plus free game for PlayStation 3. It's like think Final Fantasy Tactics, but with guns and with like strategy, like breach the room or clear the room and stuff like that. Breach the door. You know,
Kinda
it
like a
has
SWAT
this.
team.
Yeah, like there was actually a game I used to have on my iPhone that did the exact same thing, but now it just burned the shit out of my iPhone, which would burn a hole in my pocket. But now that's on the PlayStation 3. Why not?
And Xbox 360 had no official releases for itself.
Oh.
Let's skip on over to some news.
News.
Hopefully your ears aren't broken so you can hear this exciting news.
Huh?
Tony Hawk and Activision
What?
have decided to collaborate once again,
What?
making a new game for 2015. It's supposed to be a skating game.
What?
Tony the Birdman Hawk
Yeah.
is 46 years old.
What?
I was expecting an okay.
No.
I'm really excited. I love Tony Hawk. Ironically, I think the one thing that killed that series,
It's Tony Hawk himself.
no, was the move to freeform. I love it when they just had 2 minutes to do.
Oh no.
Oh,
Man.
absolutely.
No, because they always had free skate.
No, they didn't.
What? It was like Tony Hawk 3. They put in free skate.
Yeah, but Tony Hawk 1 and 2 were the best. And
That
they didn't.
subjective. Tony Hawk 1 could suck my dick when Tony Hawk 2 was the one that really redefined the game. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
I mean, we can argue as much as we
Sounds
want.
like a debate coming up.
PlayStation 2, Tony Hawk 3 was the first game. Yeah, it was PlayStation 2. Was one of the first games I ever got. First game I ever got was Metal Gear Solid 2, and then Tony Hawk 3. So second game I got, and I was like fucking just enamored. Holy shit! Look at everything. Wow, I'm in the airport.
Well, hopefully they do
The
some.
draw distance is better.
Hopefully they do some kind of return to form on that one.
Yeah, maybe.
Amiibo card games? Question mark. The Wii U is expected to expand the Amiibo functionality to include cards.
Good for them.
I know 3 series that
That's
could
the
really
thing,
excel.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, they do that shit with Shit, sorry. They do that shit with what's that game? Disney Infinity,
Right.
which
So-
is actually kind of cool. It's like a weird kind of like. It's like DLC, but it appeals to kids so well.
So remember
Bastards.
in Yu-Gi-Oh when they had their little thingies, the dual discs? Now you can basically have one on your Wii U. You just plop the card on it.
Lay your
Summon
trap
your,
card down,
your Blue Eyes White Dragon.
right? Or Exodia, and just
Yeah.
Shadow Crush your enemy.
Yeah, and your Wii U controller just breaks.
Yeah. God damn it.
Damn it. Damn Amiibo.
So one of the things I'm excited about for this would be like Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
like Pokemon card game, collecting all those cards and stuff,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
actually
there's
be able to
the
throw
big
them
three.
into the game.
The big 3, right? Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh. You could
Mhm.
maybe play them
I
all
thought
on
there
your
was
Wii
more
U.
than that.
Well, there's more card games, but those are the big 3.
Wasn't Dungeons and Dragons big?
That's not a card
That's not
game.
a card game.
I'm sure there's a form of a card game now.
I'm sure there's a form, but it's not a huge
I
thing.
doubt that.
Hey, you can suck my face.
Interesting news from Rockstar this
Thank
week.
you, baby.
Grand Theft Auto 5 will have a first-person shooter mode.
I actually thought that was cool. I looked at the trailer on it. I was like, I mean, honestly, you can't even see your fucking hands, it looks like, but
No, I think they made it so you can.
really? Like, I saw some of the things, like, you get into the jet, like, or whatever, like, it's just like, you just see a head bobble and stuff like that. Whatever, I don't care.
That's the next-gen head bobble.
Driving in the fucking rain, though, holy shit, that shit looks hard as fuck. I'm gonna need to be this close to my freaking TV to be like, oh, where are they? You know, getting chased by cops like that.
Hard as fuck, but realistic.
Yep. Makes me hard as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about your penis right now?
No, I'm talking about my love for the game. Anyway, next next game we got.
Line up the mic to your face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask has been announced as a 3DS remake.
That is good news.
That's one of the few Zeldas I've not played.
I've played it. I have not beaten it. I was actually the time I actually played it. I was afraid of the moon, so I was like, "Oh fuck! I don't want this guy to wreck me." You know, so I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna play. I got 3 days to do this. Shit!" You know. My only gripe is I hope this doesn't become a trend with people. Like, it's great, right? Like, we like seeing games that are remade or whatever, but I don't want it to become a trend. More so in the case of Nintendo than any other company that fails to reinvent
IPs.
itself with its IPs. Yeah,
It's
it's
Mia.
its consoles reinvent themselves. That's fine, but its IPs are essentially the same things. And like, if you look at that, I mean, I don't know if I'm pulling any cords here. I don't want you to get mad at me or whatever.
Don't you pull my cord.
Right? If look at the last Zelda releases, the last 2 or 3 Zelda releases, actually exclude A Link Between Worlds, because that one was actually exclude it. but the last 3 Zelda releases were essentially the same games, just different platforms, and not all.
I did not care for Link Between Worlds. I might be the only one that's ever going to say that.
Probably in the world.
I didn't care for the.
I cared for Link Between
I didn't care for the system that they used.
Oh, like where you have to buy your
Yeah.
stuff. Well, different strokes.
Teach his own.
But I mean, it's great that the game's coming out, but it's also that bit of nostalgia vision that people have that they're like, "Oh, that's the greatest Zelda game ever." I don't think that Majora's Mask is. I think A Link
Majora's
to the Past
Mask.
is.
I think Majora's. Yeah, I agree. Link to the Past. I think Majora's Mask is a fringe best Zelda game when people want to be edgy. I don't think. I think it's a toss up between Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past.
When you're in the mood to argue, let's throw in Majora's Mask or
Well,
even Ocarina of Time. You can throw in and be like, "Well, I think this is best."
I think so. I think you could make a case for that. Halo, in light of the new Halo news that's always coming out, especially the big release of the Master Chief Collection, Halo Esports League has been introduced.
It has begun. It has begun.
And we're kicking off with a $50,000 tournament.
We should get a sound bit for that Mortal Kombat. It has begun.
Hey.
Jacket Kane.
The Electronic Frontier Foundation they're all for protecting your digital rights, have petitioned the Library of Congress and the Copyright Office to make abandoned games fair use, meaning that they can create third-party servers to play them on.
So that was like back in the day when you didn't want to play Ragnarok and pay for it. You'd get onto one of the free Ragnarok servers.
So one of the biggest influences
Not
for this,
that I did that.
one of the bigger influences of this was Civilization 5 and Mario Kart for the Wii. That was kind of
Double Dash?
That was kind of where they started picking up on this. Well, that was a GameCube. But that was where they were trying to pick up on
the Wii, yeah.
the idea that, these games are over. We paid money for it. Why can't we play these online and stuff like that? And so they're saying, well, let us make our own servers if you're not going to offer us servers.
Yeah, I can get behind that because I know Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2. I could totally fuck with that. Yeah.
Yes!
Just Eric's just like,
Yes! Actually, one of my friends, we actually were talking about that because we were burnt out on Destiny, and we were like, and we read an article about the comparison between Destiny and Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, that image thing.
Yeah, and they compared everything, and it was so similar, and they're like, well, why was Phantasy Star episode Online 1 and 2 so much fun, and why did we play it so much, and Destiny we can't? And I'm like, the one thing I think would really fix Destiny, a huge level cap. Like, the fact that we cap at level 30, if they would have capped it at like 255, which I think is what Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2 did.
I think it's 200.
Is it 200?
I believe so, because I was like 112 when I stopped playing.
I was like 87 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would do the same 4 levels over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And just increase the difficulty so I had the chance of getting these rarer items.
Yeah, when the red drops, you're like, yes!
Exactly. Yeah.
And the only argument I would have had, but I even have a solution for that, would be that the problem would be PvP, right?
No, because it scales.
Yeah, it
You can
scales,
lock
man.
it.
Yeah.
That's okay. So
Yeah.
it always scales.
It always scales.
Unless you do
They
the
had
Iron
that-
Banner.
Yeah, they had the
but-
thing with Iron Banner, which,
Yeah.
meh. But
Yeah. But yeah, if they could do this, the create your own server things for this stuff,
Yeah.
I would be all over Phantasy Star episodes 1 and 2 right now. And actually, this the reason I brought this up is because my one friend, they actually came out with the Phantasy Star Online episode, or Phantasy Star Online 2, and it's like every episode is like an expansion that they're doing.
Mhm.
It's not released in America currently.
Oh yeah, no. My brother is like ripping his hair out because he really wants to play that.
I will talk to you after the show.
Okay. But I also had another one to add to that. Phantasy Star Online Episode 3, the card game that some people like, some people didn't. I fucking adored. I would be down with that one too if that were online. Card games. Put
Maybe you
that
can
back
play it
in
on the
the
Wii U.
Yeah, just trap card, bitch. It works out.
Dragon Age Inquisition comes out November 18th, but if you got an Xbox One, you can play it on November 13th, or at least 6 hours of it.
I'm actually a little sad. I did not read that whole article, and I've read this twice now, where they said that you could, you can play it for 6 hours earlier. I didn't know that it was only on Xbox One. I'm a little bit sad right now.
And the cool thing is, your save will carry over to the new game,
That's not PlayStation 4?
and you can play multiplayer with it as well.
Bullshit.
So that's pretty exciting. PlayStation Experience, an event obviously from Sony, will run from December 6th to the 7th at the Sands Expo and Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. 18 or older,
Navada?
you're free. You can actually go to this one now since your birthday, right? Just kidding. I like to call people minors. For some reason, I get off on it.
I've got...
For a single day pass, it's
I got a friend that can see
$50.
that.
For both days, it's $90. So there's going to be tons of games. They're going to introduce. I know a couple of games are even going to make some kind of premiere at it. I know the new. What's that TV show everybody likes these days? It's like a Lord of the Rings TV show.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones game's going to be there. There's going to be a whole bunch
the
of...
Telltale one?
Yeah, the Telltale one.
Oh, that's going to be... Oof. That's going to be good.
So that's all going to be there. Make sure you get your tickets for that.
Whoop!
It's going to be wild.
Whoop, whoop! Whoop! Wow, that echo.
There are a couple other news stories, too. There's...
Ebola?
If you're familiar with a game called Dawngate, it was by Waystone Games. It was produced by EA. That game is officially going to be canceled in 90 days.
Thank God.
Now, I don't understand. I mean, okay. I think that's a very exciting genre, this MOBA genre right now. And I think the Dota-inspired games are doing incredibly well. I mean, you can't deny that.
That should be the genre. Dota inspired.
I think EA might be pulling the plug too early on this, but at the same time, maybe they know that it's just too competitive. Why do you seem to not care about Dota?
I don't like it because I had a run-in. This kind of initially put the first bad taste in my mouth. Back when Dota, the first Dota, was out, a friend of mine...
When you say first Dota was out, are you referring to Warcraft 3?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I want to say. It was very brief. My friend was playing it. Oh, this is... Now I'm like, oh, you just control the one guy. He's like, yeah, you just control the one guy. And all I heard was just clicking left and right. Next time I had experienced Dotas, or not Dotas, well, Dota-inspired games, was League of Legends. I've played for like 5 minutes. And I was just like, not really my thing. And I just... One of my friends was playing it, and I just never got over how like you know how you're too obsessed with a game, how you can be like too obsessed.
Yeah.
It reminded me, it was akin to Call of Duty for me. You know how some people are like, oh, Call of Duty, 1v1 me on Call of Duty, bro. It's like the same thing. It's like, challenge me on League of Legends. You play LoL, bro? And it's kind of like really bothered me. But the biggest thing that I didn't like it was this concept, because I'm really into fighting games, was this concept that MOBAs were more demanding than like fighting games. There's no way to actually like...
It's tough to gauge.
Yeah, you really can't gauge it at the end of the day. But there are some key differences. And I felt like people glossed that over in favor of, oh, it's a thinking game, but they don't realize fighting games are thinking games as well. They're just, you think in different ways. I just hated the stigma between it. There were a lot of people that were like, oh, the FGC is like bullshit.
Well, that's that whole gamer idea that something has to be better than something else.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Yeah,
but I mainly saw it coming from the MOBA aspect of it.
There's definitely no doubt that the MOBA market is the most, and I hate to use this word, but it's the only word I can think of at the moment, is the most toxic of any market. Even first-person shooters.
They're kind of assholes.
People in Dota are the worst.
Yeah, or League of Legends. Yeah, I heard like horror stories on League of Legends. People just got bad attitudes and that. I don't know. You don't play League of Legends?
I used to be really into it, and I've phased out of it quite a bit.
You're into
I'm
Dota
much more
2?
casual. Oh, no, I don't play Dota 2. I'm terrible at that.
Oh.
But I'm much more casual at this point.
But, yeah, that's just my...
Well, and I noticed you mentioned Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Call of Duty had a bit of a struggle this week, right?
Oh. Segue. Yeah, Call of Duty had a bit of an issue on the PlayStation 4, according to multiple complaints. The PlayStation 4 on the campaign version runs at a slightly, or not slightly, but a lower frame rate. We're looking at 40 or 30 frames. 40 to 50, I think it was. Not 30. I don't think it got that low. Frames per second throughout the campaign at specific areas, which, in comparison to the Xbox One, is running at 60 frames. So that kind of confused a lot of people. They're like, oh, what the fuck? Because the big concept or whatever is that the PlayStation 4 is stronger. That is true. Spec-wise, the PlayStation 4 is stronger than the Xbox One. But they're running at different resolutions. Some people are like, oh, it's bullshit, the resolution. And they said a lot of people incorrectly blame Sony. It's not Sony's fault if a game runs at a certain frame rate on your console. It is the fault of the developer, whoever optimized it for your console. So now, when you look at the consoles, you're looking at two different languages at this point. You're like, okay, how do I translate this thing from Chinese to German? Okay? Sounds great in Chinese. Like, you have something that's in English, translate to Chinese, something in English, translate to German. Sounds great in Chinese, doesn't sound that great in German. Is it the English language fault or whatever? No, it's the translator. It's the guy who actually went ahead and went, oh, this is going to do this and this is going to do that. It wasn't optimized fully for it. And it's not like it was crazy technology anyway. It's actually easier to make games on the PlayStation 4. But wasn't fully optimized at the end of the day. So it's running at a weird frame rate. Then there comes the issue of netcode problems, which a lot of people are saying between the PC and the PlayStation 4. There's a lot of times where they're getting disconnected. A lot of people are getting shot before they come around corners. After they come around corners, they're still taking damage. Whatever the case is, like, the game's frantic, so, some instances, some people just, are in denial. But yeah, I could totally see that because that happened on Battlefield. People are calling it some people are calling it like the new Battlefield because that is exactly what happened in Battlefield 4. But no problems in comparison to the Xbox One side. We're only talking about current gen. We're not talking about previous gen, which I don't even think it dropped for, did it? Advanced Warfare.
I think it did.
It did?
I think it did.
Oh, yeah, it was on the list for all platforms, right?
Right.
Regardless, it's kind of like a lot of people are saying, like, oh, there's some conspiracy behind it, that Activision, because they're technically, quote-unquote, in Microsoft's pocket, that they care more about Microsoft's issues and solved theirs or made it a better copy on theirs, whatever. I really wouldn't say that's true because, as we were talking about before the show, if there's more people that had Xbox Ones, if there was, because I think that it's outsold 2-to-1 as far as PS4 goes. If it was an even ratio, 1-to-1 ratio, there'd probably be the same amount of problems on the Xbox One. It's just because there's less people complaining. Doesn't mean there's less problems overall. Just means less people that run the risk of running into like a glitched up section of the game. That doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that that's a better copy.
I mean, week one, let's let them fix up stuff.
It's fucking week one.
So hopefully we see an improvement there.
Wait a month. If by December it's still a problem, then it's a problem. Or in the case of Battlefield, if it's like a fucking year pretty much and it's still a problem, then it's a problem.
And our top story tonight.
Woo. Deucer Rick. Fucking news.
BlizzCon 2014.
What up?
Woo!
Woohoo! Swag.
A lot of big announcements out of Blizzard. They're going to have a pretty exciting next year, I think.
Next 2 years.
Next 2 years because of the first one up. They made a lot of announcements. 2 sides to the WoW movie. They want you to go to a website and pick a side.
Yeah.
Horde or Alliance.
Released some of the cast while they were at it.
Yeah.
Confirmed some of the cast rather.
WoW movie's supposed to be out 2016.
Uh-huh.
What's the month? Anybody know?
March.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a name for this movie yet? I can't remember.
Warcraft.
It's just gonna be called. But there's no.
No, as far as I've seen, it's just Warcraft.
They should. You know what they should do? They should totally make the expansion the same subtitle as the movie. Bam. Well, it wouldn't make sense chronologically because they're doing whatever.
There's going to be a WoW charity pet for Red Cross, the Ebola campaign they're running right now.
Woo.
There's an expansion for Hearthstone called Goblins vs. Gnomes.
Midget fight!
Plants and zombies.
StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void is actually going to be a standalone game. Will not be an expansion pack.
With Archon mode?
With Archon mode.
What is that with Archons? Like,
It's-
that's in Diablo, that's in StarCraft. Like, come on, Blizzard.
Because
New
it's a
names.
cooperative and PvP event at the same time. I'm not entirely sure what that entails. I'm not a StarCraft 2 player.
Nope, definitely
If
not.
you are a StarCraft 2 player and you're watching, please enlighten me in the comments.
Enlighten him.
That's called getting the audience involved. Something I'm working on right now. It's a little tip for you guys. Anyway, new Heroes of the Storm characters have been announced with an official. I know it's an alpha right now. Is that what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Because so they're gonna do.
Heroes of the Storm?
They're gonna move over to the beta. That's their MOBA. It's supposed it's supposed to be very casual. It's only like 20-minute games, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's
a very casual League of Legends, Dota kind of thing.
very accessible to people like
And they
you.
actually
Is
did
it
people,
it.
Dota?
people like you fighting gamers.
No,
who
that's
can't-
Valve, isn't
You
it?
know.
What?
Wait, no, Dota is...
Dota 2 is Valve right now.
It is Valve.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially, yeah. Okay.
And then finally, what I assume is the biggest announcement of BlizzCon. It just seems
Can
like
I,
at this
can I
point.
make a comment about the Heroes of the Storm?
Fine!
They actually added a feature that I think every video game should start using. They have a thing called levers. So if you leave a game too often, you'll only be matched with other people who leave games too often.
Plenty of games do that.
And the only way that you can get out of this is not leave games.
They do that on... I believe they do that on Battlefield. They do... I'm pretty sure they do it on... damn it! Shit. What's that game?
He's getting old.
My
I
Pretty
am getting-
Princess
it's
Pony?
It's next gen. I can't think of it. There's another game do that, and I think they do it on Street Fighter. I know they're thinking about doing that on Guilty Gear when that drops. I believe they do it on Dead or Alive 5.
This is the first time I've heard of this, and I think it's an amazing feature.
Yeah, no, it's a great feature because it's like, all right, you're matched up with the other asshole. Killer Instinct does it. The only problem is when it first came out, it was glitchy as fuck. If you won a match, you got thrown into that shit. Or if you
Ugh.
lost a match, you got thrown into it. It's just random.
Wow.
They had to fix it. It's old news by now, but yeah, they have it.
Okay.
And, well, again, what I think is the biggest announcement of it was a game called Overwatch.
Overwatch. Overwatch.
Which is a Team Fortress style shooting game. By Team Fortress, I mean it has a lot of classes, and they're all characterized in their own unique ways.
Yeah.
The clever sniper,
The
the
British teleporter.
the
The Reaper who's a Reaper.
Who's gonna reap you?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna reap you. That call Kotaku. Shit, there could be problems there. It's sexist. It's sexist. You guys don't know.
So
it's
that
sexist.
should be an interesting game to watch out for. I think the beta actually starts next year. is
yeah,
what I read on it.
2015.
I signed up for it.
Did you? We should all sign up for it.
Well, I don't know if my computer can run it.
Your laptop should be able to.
Yeah, it should be able to handle
Your
Well,
new one you just got.
I still haven't gotten the freaking drivers.
So
The display drivers updated.
Blizzard didn't really talk too much about the expansion, it seems like, or maybe at least
They didn't talk about D4. That's
but the
all I care
expansion,
about.
expansion is coming out pretty soon,
Yep, this Thursday.
this Thursday. So Blizzard's having a pretty big 2
They're-
years coming up.
They're kind of just like fucking just play the game.
This is also their 10-year anniversary year too
Really?
for World of Warcraft.
Oh my god, 10 years, ladies
Yep.
and gents.
They're in a
If
big-
if there was any game that you could have invested in way back when, when the MMORPG world was growing, it would have been World of Warcraft.
Profit-wise, World of Warcraft doesn't make all that much.
No, I don't mean I mean make a character.
Oh,
Join the
okay.
world.
I thought you were talking.
That's
like
what I mean.
Stocks.
No, I don't know, but like,
There was a reason why Activision purchased them.
oh really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're money grabbing, but there's World of Warcraft. I want to say Final Fantasy 11 because that's still to this day alive. It's just a little more noob friendly.
Well, even what was that? EverQuest.
EverQuest.
Even EverQuest is still going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still. I think last I saw it was like 300,000 players
Yeah,
were playing EverQuest, the original one, or not EverQuest 2 maybe.
EverQuest 2.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I would see EverQuest
Yeah.
2.
man, who are these people?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just-
We'll never see them.
But it's just like, those are like, it's so weird because, I mean, before WoW and a little after WoW, there were a shit ton of just random MMOs that were getting released, a lot of free to play titles, and it really didn't get off the ground too far. Like most last a year, maybe 2, and then you're like, fucking all right, cut the cord or pull the cord. But it's nice to see some
Ice cream truck.
ice cream, news. But
I'll be in your nightmares, ladies and gentlemen.
good for them. Good for Blizzard.
One thing I've noticed that Blizzard seems to do, and I'm looking at everything that's being released here, and it seems like, and you touched on this before, Eric, but it seems like Blizzard has a habit of taking games that are successful and putting their spin on it to make it more broad-based and finding their own success in that. We see here, I'm not going to say StarCraft 2, even though one could argue StarCraft might have been inspired somewhat by Command and Conquer. I'm not sure which came first.
Command and Conquer, Warcraft.
Warcraft.
What was that on Ages of Empire?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you could see that I'm not going to be the guy that says which one came first. I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it seems like that might have happened for there. Heroes of the Storm is obviously MOBA, and they're putting their spin on it to make it accessible to everybody,
Yeah.
which is great. I'm all for it. I'm not going to say I'm the biggest fan of it myself, but if a whole bunch of people can get into a genre, I'm all for it. Good
Yeah,
job,
pretty
Blizzard.
much they're the gateway into genres, it seems like, because the Heroes of the Storm, if you've ever played League of Legends, you're going to be bored out of your mind if you go to play Heroes of the Storm, because it's dumbed down. Like, you can literally avoid PvP 90% of the match and still win, to where League of Legends, if you don't kill the other team, you're hard pressed to actually win the match.
Right.
And then they have also the Hearthstone to compared to Magic the Gathering video game.
Which is amazing. I actually, I might lose some nerd cred here. Not that I ever really had that much, but I think
Or any at all.
I think Hearthstone is actually more enjoyable than Magic the Gathering.
No, I agree.
I think as an online game, it suits itself very, very well.
I have about like 1,500 Magic cards, like physical Magic cards. And I used to play that all the time with my dad, my brother, and friends and stuff like that. And it was just too goddamn complicated. There's way too many situational cards that, unless you actually really paid attention to the rules and really looked them up online and stuff, it was really hard to play them, or unless you went to tournaments and had other people explain them to you. Hearthstone, it's pretty dumbed down. It's a dumbed down version of Magic, and it's really easy to jump into the genre.
And I like that it's fast paced.
Mm-hmm.
You got that timer, so you got to go, and it's just, yeah, I think it's great. Did you guys also know that, this is kind of a side note, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually going online now? They're making their own online card game, just like the other two.
What's it?
Is it like the original Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, it's not like
Okay.
5X or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, with like the bikes and
It's none of that.
then
It's-
the dice one that
Fucking-
like folds out to a map.
Take me back to fucking Duelist Island or whatever.
Yeah.
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 So they're doing that,
Where you
but-
at, Pegasus? Let's-
But anyway, and then Overwatch obviously is the Team Fortress style shooter, which looks pretty. Graphically, it actually looks pretty good.
We're
Yeah.
just missing a fighting game.
Yeah, they could make that.
They could if they did Heroes of the Storm's characters and did like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat style combat, like that could actually be pretty damn entertaining.
Yeah.
And let's
See
not
Lich King versus Arthas or something like that. Like,
let's not forget WoW itself.
Well, Heroes of the Storm.
WoW itself, they built that up out of EverQuest was popular,
Mhm.
quote unquote,
Yeah.
and then they took it and they're like, let's make this better for
Yeah,
everybody.
They're never the first one into a genre.
Right.
Well, hold on, rewind. Warcraft was one of the first, I would say.
Yeah.
Diablo, as far as dungeon crawlers go, like a proper dungeon crawler, I would say it's one of the first two.
Which one?
The first Diablo.
Oh, Diablo.
Yeah. I'd want to say it is. It was, I mean, perfected on the second one. Everyone loves the second one.
So, do you know when Warcraft and Diablo 1 came out?
Diablo 1, I want to say, came out like in like 90, mid 90s. Warcraft, I'm not sure. I never played the first one. I've only seen like videos on it. Like I told you, I was trying to watch that lore shit, and I was like, wow, this shit looks old. Yeah.
Oh, MS-DOS 1994 for Warcraft Orcs and Humans.
Probably 96 then for Diablo. 96 or 96 or 7. Yeah. So it probably wasn't the first dungeon crawler then. The first dungeon crawler without like a roll system. So like
96.
96. Yeah, it probably wasn't the first one without a roll system. You know what I mean? Like typical Dungeons and Dragons rules. Because I want to say there was one before that. I want to say like, wait, no, not Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate came out after, right?
But anyway,
I was actually just about to look that one up because
Yeah.
that was the first one I played.
Yeah.
but they've done a really good job of just taking all those things that had some kind of following. They saw some promise in it.
You don't have to be the first one to jump into a genre. Obviously, like the shooters have been around forever, and then you end up with like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Yes,
Yeah.
Battlefield. You end up with those games, and yeah, they fine-tune them over the years, but it just seems that like as soon as Blizzard actually decides to get into it, they do a damn good job.
Yeah, they have very high production values, gameplay mechanics, and technically they don't typically have a whole lot of issues, technically wise.
I
Yeah,
think
and-
they had an issue with well, actually they do have issues. It was Diablo. Anyone remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah, the Diablo 3 when it first came out.
I think there was a problem with StarCraft 2, if I remember correctly, wasn't it? When it first launched, there was some
I've-
issues.
Honestly, that's the only Blizzard game I've never got into.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there was definitely the Diablo 3, but then there was also the other issues after the game had been out for a little while, such as the auction house. And
That was a
Things that
terrible idea from the beginning.
Very
I
bad idea.
could not stand that.
it's not like it's. I mean, they're kind of like. Blizzard is like Valve with just a little bit more mistakes. It's like the same concept though. Like Valve they release games, they have their staple games and they release them. And they're usually high quality games. If not always high quality games. Like I still love Diablo 3, even though some people are like, hey, it's fucking bullshit. I have Diablo 3 on PlayStation 4 and I still play it. And you have guys that who probably still run around on Half-Life. I mean, definitely on Team Fortress, definitely on Dota 2, and you know all these other games that Valve offers and stuff like that. But they haven't made as much mistakes. Like everyone wants more Valve games. That's their
But the
only
the
mistake.
trade-off being that Valve releases far fewer
Way far
and
fewer.
far later.
Yeah, they can't count to fucking 3, and it shows.
Well, I'm Spencer,
And I'm Justin.
and this has been The Itch. Thanks for watching.
Scratch yourself, motherfucker. Right? That's how we're closing.
I didn't think we were closing with Scratch Yourself, motherfucker.
Well, scratch yourself, you motherfucker. Yeah, scratch it. Scratch it. Scratch it hard. Yeah, did you get the itch? Did you get it? You just got it now. Spencer and Justin here. Scratch your itch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.